people, when they buy a stock, what are they thinking about when they buy that stock or then they're looking into it? They're thinking mostly about the upside. They're thinking about how much money am I going to make in this stock, okay? That's just part of the game. The other part you got to be thinking about is how much money can I lose in this stock, okay? So what this lesson's really about, it's about thinking about things like what's the worst case scenario? When you're not thinking about the worst case scenario, it's like going skydiving with no parachute. It's literally like going skydiving with no parachute when you're not thinking about the worst case scenario. So let's just use an example. Let's use Apple as an example because that's a business pretty much everybody that's watching this is going to understand and kind of know a bit about Apple's business, and a lot of you guys probably know a massive amount about Apple's business, right? So if I'm looking into Apple's business, I need to think about some things, okay? I can't just think, oh, well, they're probably going to sell even more iPhones this year. ASPs are probably going to go up. They're going to do all these great things. That's fine. That's fine. But I also need to think about, okay, what if Samsung comes out with a phone that knocks them out this year? What if Samsung comes out with a phone that everybody's just like, they need to get it so bad? Or Google comes out with a phone that just knocks it out? What if Apple has some type of security issue that leaks everybody's, photos out there and all these things, or leaks their emails or something like that? Like, what happens if there's a huge hack in the system? What would that do to Apple's brand? What happens if, a high-ranking executive at Apple came out and said something that, I don't know, was sexist or racist? What would that do to Apple's brand overall if something like that happened? I need to be thinking about all these different things, like what could go wrong? What if Apple, said they were going to ship the new iPhone on September, 14th, but they had some type of huge production issue and they didn't start shipping those phones actually till October 14th. What's that going to do to the brand? Are people going to be super mad? Are they going to go switch to a customer? I need to be thinking about all these things from all these different angles. It's so important to think about things from all different angles so then you understand your risks going in with that one. It's another huge reason why you need to read the risk factors that are labeled all in the 10K. Those are all in the annual report 10K. The risk factors are in there. They're very important to read all through theirs because usually they're going to have the majority of things you could think that could possibly go wrong with that company. That company's already going to have there listed. You know what I mean? Some of you guys that are in companies that are founder-led, that are very founder-centric, that CEO is super important to the corporation. You got to kind of think, what if that CEO died all of a sudden? What if they got in a plane crash or they just had, some sickness or something happened or maybe they don't even die. Maybe they just want to go to a different company all the time. And that person was kind of like running the whole thing. How would that affect the business? You've got to think about things from all these different angles because if you're not, you're just doing half the work. Yeah, half the work is looking at all the potential upside and why that company's going to go, skyrocket and why you're going to make so much money off it. The other part is, how can I lose money from this? What could go wrong here? What are all the things that could go wrong? And then you really start to understand the risk versus the reward. Anytime you make an investment in anything, it's risk versus reward. And it's as simple as that. You tell me, oh, there's an investment here I can make. What's my risk? What's my potential reward? That's what matters in the end. What is my risk? What is my reward? And if all you're looking at is the reward part, man, you're going to get caught into some very bad things. If all you're looking at is the reward all the time and you're not looking at what the risk is over there, all the risk factors, all the things that could go wrong, you're going to get caught with your pants down in a huge way and it's going to be, so painful, and you don't ever want to put yourself in that situation. So make sure when you're looking into these companies, it's not just about, they got so much potential upside. It's about, wow, what could go wrong here? What are all the things that could go wrong? What's the most realistic things that could go wrong? And then what are the, most, I guess you would say, unrealistic things that could go wrong, but they could go wrong. Then you ought to understand risk versus reward. So key, guys, so key. Make sure you do that. Otherwise, you're going skydiving without a parachute. That's what it is at the end of the day. So definitely remember this lesson. Let's get into lesson number 35.